Bonjour! Well, last week I gave you a short introduction to the Château de Mansat, privately owned by David and Leslie Lewis, and David has kindly agreed to give us an exclusive tour of the inside of the chateau. Now, the castle was built more or less in 1455, so you can imagine it has a rich history. And on this tour, David will tell us more about the history, but also about his 20-odd year renovation of the chateau.
They had chickens and ducks in here.
Okay.
At one time, 40 years ago, before it was made into a proper room.
Yeah. Beautiful kitchen. Well, there are still ducks here.
Yeah, my children bought me that for Christmas for a sort of spoof, because they're a bit naff, you know, and they didn't think we'd put them up. So we said, "Oh, lovely, we've always wanted some." That's right. And their mouths fell open with surprise. So.
Well, in South Africa, my viewers will definitely recognize those.
Yeah, yeah. Real 1960s, 70s sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think my parents had a set as well.
Yeah.
Yo, these beams, huh? Incredible.
There was a trap door here.
Yeah.
Where is it? Yeah. There and there. You can see the holes.
Oh, of course,
and
yes.
I had to replace, when we came, that was a hole. And when you walked across that room upstairs, they had a carpet over it, you could have fallen through.
Oh.
It was full of dangerous. So
Good
I found
heavens.
some exactly the right colour and slotted some
Perfect.
3 boards in. But that was when this was a chicken house, they would drop the food down into it from up there, because they used that room to sort of store the, chicken feed and hay and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So they never actually came in here. They just
No, they lived in that end completely.
Oh.
This was divided into 5 rooms, and one family lived here. I think it was the main farmer, possibly.
Oh.
Lived in this room. Rooms. There was a partition under that big beam, the second one along.
Right.
And there was well, you can see the different colour of wood.
Yes, I do.
And that's where they divide it up. So this was a sort of flat, it had a couple of bedrooms. There was a window where that chest on a stand is, and it was horrible. I've got a picture of it. It wasn't there originally. They knocked it through to get more light.
Okay.
And they made that, where it's standing out was one room.
Right.
And to get more lights, they had a window each end. They put a window in there, but they put bricks round it, not nice stones. So it looked awful. And it wasn't me who took it out, it was the woman before me, and she bricked it up, stoned it up so it just doesn't show anymore.
Oh, look at this fireplace.
Enormous, isn't it?
Sure.
When we came, it was an open fire.
Right.
And we found it was burning huge, great logs and giving out very little heat all up the chimney.
Yes.
So we put a wood burner in, which immediately meant we burned about a quarter of the number of logs and got about 4 times as much heat.
Ah, no, it's incredible. Look at all the stone.
And this is where they would put the embers, braise it's called in French, under that, and they would have had little pots in there
Oh, so you
to keep.
you
It was
actually-
like to keep warm, to keep the food warm.
Right.
Because this, you know, when this was a chateau, this would have been the guard room where all the soldiers and that, and they lived and
Right.
ate and slept and cooked and everything here. You know, they would have cooked over the fire and they would have kept stuff warm
and
there.
then keep it warm there, yeah.
And this room was.
And I think also maybe for sauces,
Yeah,
you
things
know,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
we saw in the Château de Mansat
Yeah,
the same kind
Same
of
thing.
concept,
yeah, yeah, that's right. In fact, there's even one in, I know a house in England with it, a Tudor house.
Really
Yeah, Barrington Court, they've got the same thing.
unbelievable.
And this was the cold room. In English, it would be called a buttery because you would have kept the butter and cheese and milk and stuff in here.
Right,
Always like this, very cold, even in the middle of summer.
amazing. Sure. Now this is where I would hide during midsummer.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Right.
I couldn't afford to buy one because one like that would cost. Well, if it was original, it cost about £20,000 or £30,000,
Wow, Dave, and you made it.
and I made it.
Because I was looking at the table when we were in here and I thought, oh, what a nice table for entertaining. And this carving,
Yeah, I did that too.
you
Yeah.
did that too.
Yeah.
Phew, Dave. Unbelievable. I think you should take a bow.
Roman statue.
Yes. Okay, and the background?
Well, what happened is about, I think it's something like 1900, they were
Right.
digging a well over at La Courrière, which is the other part of Mansat. It's the other side of the field, that big field.
Right.
And they got down quite a long way, something like a metre or 2 metres, and they found this, and the farmer didn't realise what it was, and he gave it to his daughter, and she tied it on a piece of string and was trailing it around. And somebody, knowing there was a Roman villa here, some professor came along
Yeah.
and recognised it, and you know, said, well, that's important. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he gave it to her or he bought it or what. It was missing one leg, which it still is,
Yes.
and it was also missing an arm at the time. Anyway, the farmer then found the arm, so they put the arm back on. So there's 2 versions of that. There's one with 1 arm and 1 leg, and there's the one with 2 arms and 1 leg.
Okay. And you say
And it's in the Louvre now.
in the Louvre.
Yeah, and this came from the Louvre. Where is it? My kids bought me that for my 80th birthday.
80th?
Yeah, I'm 86.
David, you're joking.
Well, 86 in a month's time, yeah. 85 and yeah. So that's about it. This is from the Louvre. They bought that from the Louvre. It's a certificate of authenticity.
Okay, so Dave, what you're actually saying is if you want to keep looking young, you need to restore a chateau. Is that the message here? Sure.
Now, I restored a lovely house in England first.
Okay, so keep on restoring then.
Which is why we had enough money to buy this place. Because I bought that in 1962. And that's the back of it. And when I sold it, that's the same view.
Oh man, incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, so was it inside. This is that. Here's that table in there.
Yes. Well done.
That's it inside before we got it smartened up.
Well, okay, so I understand now that you had a lot of experience before
Yeah,
moving
that's the one I'm building on the end, done in flint and stone, the same.
Right.
So it looks like the rest of it.
Sure.
And there it is.
Absolutely beautiful.
And it's listed. And we sold it for quite a lot of money.
I can imagine. You.
And then we saw this one and we thought, well, let's just say we'll have it. So we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
We had a house in England where they had a lot of money, but no money in the bank. So we had to borrow. I think it cost us, the deposit was about £20,000, and I borrowed it off my son.
Good heavens.
Until we sold the house in England.
Yeah, it was worth it. And I loved what you said, that this was built before America was discovered. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was 1637. I've got it written down somewhere. It's in a book.
Yes.
About it. And do you know Pontario, the castle at Pontario, the one up on the top?
No, I don't.
Well, if you go into Pontario, you can see it.
Right.
Same date as this one, more or less. And they were great rivals. And the guy there came over here, and the old man, I don't know, he's probably in his 60s.
Yeah.
In a sort of chaise longue type thing in front of the fire.
Yes.
And the bloke came in and actually assaulted him whacked him with a pistol and things, but didn't kill him. And then a few years later, he enticed the young 18-year-old heir to, there's going to be the next seigneur, out into the woods, and 3 men attacked him. And he defended himself valiantly, so it says, until his sword broke. And then they killed him in dastardly fashion, it says, something like that. Yeah, quite amazing. I'll show you this bit. This is the back kitchen. That's quite interesting. That is not a bread oven blocked, which a lot of people think it is. It isn't. I'll show you from the other side. When we came, there was a piece of hardboard in there.
My word.
So we thought, well, we can't put a hot auger next to a piece of hardboard.
No.
So I did the same as this. I found some old bricks and tiles and things and
stunning.
put it in, filled it in. And what it was, in fact, is quite unusual. See, it goes right down to the ground.
Yes.
And what it would have had, in the days when that was a fireplace, that would have had a big iron fire back in there, and that heated up, and it heated this room. So it heated that room with the fire, and gave heat into this room.
Right, okay. And this room was used for?
Oh no, we just use it as a sort of back kitchen, but
okay, maybe they had dishwashers.
servants probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
That was here when we came. She
Really?
left that behind, the lady who had, it's leather. It's brilliant, look.
Oh, of course.
Made it of leather.
Sure.
That was here when we came. That was the only, well, one of the few, there's two, there was one upstairs.
Oh,
And the reason it's up on a plinth is because the septic tank was out in this part of the garden out here, which is higher than the, and so the only way they could get any drop into it was to put the, I think that's why it's up like that.
Probably.
Anyway, we left it like that because it's too much trouble to change it, and it's a bit of a feature.
And it's
Part of the
handy
history.
down here.
Oh, it's nice to have a thing. And this is the other round tower. This one's got a wooden ceiling. But it's got a huge fireplace in it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the oil tank.
And that's your oil tank for central heating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That was there when we came, so it did have central heating on the ground floor and the first floor.
Yeah.
Most of the rooms, so we left that.
Oh, this is the best part.
Yeah, we pointed it up. It wasn't done when we bought it.
Okay.
We did the pointing, and what we did is we made sure the electricity was buried behind the thing. So,
Of course.
whereas what they did was they just trailed they pointed it first and then trailed the wires
Right.
down the outside, which I don't
Oh.
When we came, we had to replace a step. That's a new one there,
Right.
and that's half a new one, because the one that was there had cracked in two places, and the bit in the middle was in danger of falling out. So it was very dangerous. So the man had to come down who works for the Louvre to do that. Nobody around here could do it.
Really?
The man who in the granite works at Le Compay said it was hors de mon compétence, beyond my competence piece, but I know somebody who can do it. So he made the step, the granite step, but he got this guy to come down from Paris to fit it. Got pictures of it all held up with acro props and a little bottle jack in the middle there, where that is.
Good heavens.
Yeah, holding it all up.
Yeah.
Amazing. Which was an expense we didn't anticipate, but
Can you imagine?
you couldn't live in a place with, without a step into the next floors.
No. And jump every time.
Yeah.
This wooden frame, was it here?
No, yeah, it was here. This is where the other flat was I was telling you about. And they obviously they didn't like the low door. It would have had a doorway like this, I imagine, because you can see the big stones.
Like that. Okay, there's quite a difference between the two.
Yeah, and they put this one up, sort of like this was probably done about 1790, we think, from the sort of style of the panelling.
Oh my word. Sure. Oh, it's huge.
Well, this was the other flat. This room, that room, there's a big cupboard there, which
Right.
was used as a bedroom, oddly enough, in the beginning. Hadn't got any windows in it or anything, but it's really big.
And that was
Wardrobe there. Well, no, it's quite big.
And it was the bedroom.
It was a bedroom. From when we bought it, the woman
Right.
who sold it to us only lived in a bit of it.
Yes.
And her son, this was all done with psychedelic, sort of Mickey Mouse melting and that, the sort of...
Children's room.
Yeah, children's room. And
Okay.
so we
Wow.
although it was part of the history of the place, we didn't really want to keep that. So
Oh, and here's my dream bathroom.
we put this in.
Oh, so nice. Sure. And a fireplace.
When we came, there was a Victorian fireplace sticking out into the room, big tiled thing,
Right.
with a little fireplace in the middle, but a lot of tiles around it. And that's why these holes here, this is where they fixed it in, and that lintel had gone.
Right.
So when we took this horrible Victorian thing out, we found there was no lintel. So we had to get a lintel made.
And I can see ducks again.
Yeah.
Yo. Now this is amazing.
And that was where they came in when this was the other flat. That went down to the floor, and that was the door. That was up the
That's
stairs and in through that
So that
doorway.
used to be the door.
That was the door.
Right.
And this was their kitchen.
Okay.
The lady who was born here, but she's about my age now, she's still alive, and
Yeah.
she's been and sort of had a look to see what we've been doing and things, told me about history,
Yeah.
and she gave me a photo of the steps out
The
there.
original.
The original,
Okay.
well, not original, but
Yeah, yeah.
put in probably, I don't know, about 50, 100 years ago, I suppose.
Sure.
This has got underfloor heating, electric underfloor heating.
Right.
So it's on top of that vaulted room.
Okay, now I know
It's
where
strange,
we
this is
are,
a round
yeah.
tower, but it's a square room
Yes, that
in
is
the round
weird.
tower.
That is weird, because here you can actually see it's rounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Amazing.
So it's very thick in places, being square in a round tower, but very thin on the corners, presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at this old radiator.
We put that one in.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Lovely one, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we bought that one in the Aveyron.
Yeah.
And then we bought one in Bordeaux, this one in the Aveyron.
Okay. Everything is so amazing. So when you first bought this was your bedroom.
This was our bedroom when we first came.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the other end was, as I said, you know, it was almost uninhabitable.
Right.
There was one room they used down that end, but the daughter slept in it.
Right. And tell me the wooden paneling.
That's put in about, we think from the style of it, it's end of the 1700s, beginning of the 1800s.
Yes.
And that's the window. That's blocked.
That's the
been made into a
closed-up
cupboard.
one. Right.
And they made a new window further along. That's a newer one. I mean, it's probably 100, 150 years old, but it's not chamfered at the corners, it's square. You know, and all the old ones have got are chamfered. The one that's blocked is chamfered.
Right.
But it's a nice big window, so it's
Very
quite
nice. Yeah. Okay, so this is your... Wow, that was amazing. So we've seen the ground floor and part of the first floor, and next week David will show us the rest of the first floor, then take us up to the second floor and eventually up into the attic. So I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. À la semaine prochaine.